Hollywood Jackson here for Studio 863, and today I'm going to show you part 2 of the IK Multimedia I/O Stomp issues and problems. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about the iRig Stomp and some of the issues we've run into using this. So my wife purchased me the iPad 11 Pro, and we were going to hook it up to the iRig Stomp, and the problem is the output cable is a mini DIN to, I guess it's a Thunderbolt, which fits most iPads and iPhones. And unfortunately, the iPad 11 Pro has a USB-C. So I ended up purchasing the mini DIN to USB-C cable from IK Multimedia. It cost me $30. And we plugged it in, plugged it up to the iPad, and we could not get it to sync up. We couldn't get it to link up to the iPad to control the Amplitude CS software that comes with the Amplitude 4 and Amplitude 5. Now, what I ended up doing was plugging out of the USB-D out of the back of the iRig. I plugged up the 7-in-1 interface that's USB-C, and I plugged the iRig Stomp into the USB port, and it hooked up and worked just fine. And that's the way that we have been using it in the studio. Now, the problem we had in the studio was when we plugged in the iRig Stomp through the USB cable, because it's an interface, our software wanted to choose between the studio interface and the iRig Stomp interface, which caused a mountain of problems in itself. So we weren't able to use it the way I wanted to, which was to build the rigs in the DAW, plug in the iRig Stomp, and control, as a MIDI controller, control the amps. Well, we weren't able to do that. The iRig also has the MIDI port in and out on the back, so we tried it in through the MIDI in and out, and we still could not figure out how to make it work like it's supposed to as a MIDI controller to turn on and off the stomp boxes and switch amps and whatever you might want to do with the stomp box. So we built all these elaborate rigs in the studio to use with our iPad, and that leads me to the next problem. I downloaded the product manager into the iPad, couldn't get it to open. All we had was the Amplitude CS software, which is basically just a generic Amplitude software with no fancy frills and thrills. Now, we purchased the Amplitude 4 and the Amplitude 5 software, plus the Joe Satriani rig, the Dimebag Darrell rig, the Mesa Boogie rig, and I was under the impression that I would be able to use these on the desktop in the studio, and then everything would be in sync with the iPad. So when we go live, when we go to play these shows live, we could just plug in the iPad and use the same presets that we used in the studio. So I couldn't figure any of this out. So I sent IK Multimedia an email, and this was their response. Gear is not shared between the desktop and mobile versions of the Amplitude software at this time. So basically, whatever you purchased in the desktop version of the Amplitude software, it is not available without repurchasing it on the iPad, which I think is just a total fucking ripoff, because we have 10 licenses to use with your desktop, and none of those licenses can be transferred to the iPad. So basically what they're telling me is all the software that we bought for the studio, we have to buy that all over again in the iPad if we want to use that software in the iPad. And I think that's just a bunch of crap. And so because of this, Hollywood Jackson and Studio 863 give IK Multimedia's iRig a big thumbs down, because it's been nothing but a pain in our ass in the studio. Granted, it looks great. It sounds great. I don't have any problems with the desktop version using it in the DAW. In fact, it's pretty awesome as far as I'm concerned. But the only thing is if I can't use the MIDI controller in the studio, it's kind of pointless to even have it, because that's the whole reason for having a stomp box section is so that you can change from clean to dirty. You got a wah pedal, and I've racked my brain with this. I've been all over the internet searching YouTube and Google trying to find a video of someone using the iRig Stomp as a MIDI controller, and so far I haven't had any luck. So I wanted to share that with you guys before you make the same mistake that we made and spend a bunch of money. I'm not knocking the software at all. The software is awesome. It's got some great sounds. I love the Mesa Boogie rig. I love the Joe Satriani rig. But if I can't use these rigs in the studio and in the iPad using them live, it pretty much doesn't do me any good, because that was my whole reason for doing this, was to build the rigs in the studio, record with those rigs, and then when I get on the stage, I have those same exact sounds and setups that I've gotten used to in the studio in a live performance. I hope I was able to help you guys out. I'm Hollywood Jackson for Studio 863. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share those links. And just press on the bell icon if you'd like to receive notifications on the latest music and videos from Studio 863. If you like what you see, go ahead and click on that like button. And while you're at it, reach over and hit that subscribe button too. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them down below, or just send us an email. I'm Hollywood Jackson for Studio 863. Thanks for watching.